Before you call someone evil, ask yourself one question. Why do you feel less like yourself after being around them? Because truly dangerous people do not always come with loud anger, cruel words, or obvious betrayal. Sometimes they come with kindness. Sometimes they come with patience. Sometimes they come with a smile so calm that you blame yourself for feeling unsafe. But slowly, they begin to touch the deepest parts of you. They make you question your memory. They make you apologize for your pain. They make you feel guilty for having boundaries. And the most terrifying part is this. By the time you realize what they are doing, you may already be protecting them from the truth. So listen carefully, because one of these 7 signs may explain the person you have been afraid to name. Before you call someone evil, look at what happens to your spirit after you have been near them. Do you feel lighter or do you feel confused? Do you feel stronger or do you feel smaller? Do you feel calm or do you feel as if your own mind has turned against you? Because the most dangerous people do not always arrive with anger in their eyes. Sometimes they arrive with a smile. Sometimes they speak softly. Sometimes they give you gifts, attention, advice, and the feeling that they understand you better than anyone else. But slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, they begin to take something from you, your peace, your confidence, your clarity, your trust in yourself. And by the time you notice the wound, you have already started defending the person who made it. This is why you must learn to see deeply. Not with fear, not with hatred, not with paranoia, but with clear eyes. A person who is truly harmful does not destroy you in one day. They study the door of your heart. They learn where you are hungry. They learn where you are lonely. They learn what you forgive too quickly. Then they enter through the part of you that still wants to believe everyone is good. Listen carefully. Compassion without wisdom becomes self-betrayal. Forgiveness without boundaries becomes permission. Kindness without awareness becomes a road for cruel people to walk directly into your life and call it love. The first sign is this. They make you doubt what you clearly saw, clearly heard, and clearly felt. This is not ordinary disagreement. This is not a simple misunderstanding. A truly dangerous person does not only lie about events, they try to rewrite your relationship with reality. You tell them, you hurt me. They say, you are too sensitive. You tell them you promised this. They say, I never said that. You show them the evidence. They laugh, twist, change the subject, or make you feel ashamed for bringing it up. And slowly, you stop trusting your memory. You stop trusting your body. You stop trusting the warning inside your chest. This is not confusion. This is control. When a person repeatedly makes you question your own perception, they are not looking for peace. They are looking for power. Because a person who cannot trust their own eyes becomes easy to lead. A person who keeps asking, am I wrong? Am I crazy? Did I imagine it? Becomes easier to manipulate. The evil is not only in the lie. The evil is in the intention to make you abandon yourself. You must understand this deeply. Your inner clarity is sacred. Guard it. When someone constantly turns every wound into your fault, every conversation into a maze, every truth into a debate, you are not dealing with a difficult person. You are dealing with someone who benefits from your confusion. Do not argue endlessly with such people. They do not want truth. They want exhaustion. They do not want understanding. They want surrender. They keep you explaining until your energy is gone. They keep you defending yourself until you forget what they did. They pull you into the fog, then blame you for not seeing clearly. When you meet this pattern, become still. Write things down. Trust patterns more than promises. Trust behavior more than apologies. Trust your nervous system when it says, something is not clean here. Your body often recognizes danger before your mind is ready to accept it. The second sign is this: they hurt you, then act wounded by your pain. This is a very old trick. They strike the match, burn the house, then cry because you notice the fire. They betray you, insult you, humiliate you, abandon you. And when you finally react, suddenly they become the victim. Suddenly your tears are too dramatic. Your anger is too harsh. Your silence is too cruel. Your boundary is too much. They do not feel sorrow for the harm they caused. They feel offended that they are being held responsible. Watch carefully. A person with a conscience may hurt you, but when they see your pain, something in them stops. They reflect, they feel the weight, they try to repair. But a person with a dark heart becomes angry at your pain because your pain exposes them. Your wound becomes evidence. Your sadness becomes a mirror, and they hate the mirror, so they reverse the story. They say, after everything I did for you, this is how you treat me? They say, you are making me look bad. They say, you always create problems. They say, you never appreciate me. Now, the person who harmed you is asking for comfort. Now the person who crossed the line is demanding sympathy. Now you are the one apologizing for bleeding. This is how many people stay trapped for years. Not because they are weak, but because their compassion is being used like a chain. They have been trained to care more about the other person's reaction than their own wound. They have been trained to abandon themselves the moment the other person looks upset. Do not confuse someone's emotional performance with innocence. Tears can be real and still be manipulative. Pain can be real and still be used as a weapon. Some people do not cry because they hurt you. They cry because the consequence has arrived. You need strength here, quiet strength, not revenge, not screaming, not proving. Just the strength to say, your reaction does not erase your action. Say it with your life. Say it with your distance. Say it with your refusal to keep entering the same burning room. The third sign is this: they are kind only when kindness gives them control. Their goodness has a hook inside it. At first, they may seem generous. They help you, they praise you, they support you, they come close quickly. They make you feel chosen. But later, every gift becomes a debt. Every favor becomes a leash. Every private thing you shared becomes a weapon. They did not give because their heart was open. They gave because they were building a contract you never agreed to sign. Real kindness gives space. False kindness creates obligation. Real love respects your freedom. False love says, after all I have done, you owe me access to your life. Real support strengthens you. False support makes you dependent, then punishes you for wanting independence. Look at how they behave when you say no. This is where the mask begins to fall. Anyone can be gentle when they are getting what they want. But when you disagree, when you delay, when you choose yourself, when you stop serving their need, do they still respect you? Or do they become cold, cruel, sarcastic, punishing? Do they withdraw affection like food from a starving animal? Do they turn silent not for peace, but to make you panic? Do they give you attention only when you obey? This is not love. This is training. A truly harmful person does not want a relationship with your soul. They want control over your reactions. They want to know which button makes you apologize, which silence makes you chase, which insult makes you prove your worth, which fear makes you stay. And if you are honest, there may be a part of you that already knows. You feel it when their kindness makes you uneasy. You feel it when their compliments sound like ownership. You feel it when their help does not make you free, but smaller. You feel it when you begin hiding your joy, your plans, your friendships, because you know they will find a way to make you feel guilty for having a life outside their control. The way out is not hatred. Hatred keeps you connected. The way out is discipline. Stop accepting gifts that cost your peace. Stop calling control care. Stop confusing intensity with devotion. Some people do not love deeply. They attach deeply. They possess deeply. They invade deeply. And when you mistake possession for love, you become a prisoner who thanks the God for locking the door. The fourth sign is this: they enjoy creating division. They may not say, I want to destroy your relationships. They are more subtle. They whisper, they compare, they plant suspicion. They tell you what someone probably meant. They bring you half stories. They make you doubt people who genuinely care about you. They isolate you slowly, not always by force, but by poisoning the bridge between you and everyone who could help you see clearly. They say, your family does not understand you like I do. They say, your friends are jealous. They say, you should not tell anyone about us. They say, people are trying to turn you against me. At first, it feels like loyalty. Later, it becomes a cage. Be careful of anyone who needs you disconnected in order to feel secure. Be careful of anyone who becomes uncomfortable when you receive wisdom from others. Be careful of anyone who turns every outside voice into an enemy. A person who truly loves you does not fear your support system. They are grateful that you are protected. A truly evil person wants to become the only voice in your world, because when they become the only voice, they become the law. They decide what is true. They decide who is safe. They decide what you deserve. They decide when you are guilty. They decide when you are forgiven. And soon you do not ask, what do I believe? You ask, what will they think? This is spiritual suffocation. You must keep clean people close. People who do not flatter your weakness, but strengthen your judgment. People who can say, this is not right, even when you are not ready to hear it. People who remind you who you were before you became afraid. Do not push them away, because the harmful person made you ashamed of needing help. Isolation is where manipulation grows fastest. Darkness loves a closed room. Open the window. Speak the truth to someone grounded. Let fresh air enter the mind. The moment you name what is happening, the spell begins to weaken. The fifth sign is this: they have no true accountability, only strategies to escape it. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone carries shadows. Everyone has moments of selfishness, anger, pride, and blindness. The difference is not perfection. The difference is responsibility. A person with a living conscience can look at themselves and say, I did wrong. They may struggle. They may feel shame. But they do not build an entire theater to avoid the truth. A truly harmful person does not apologize to repair. They apologize to reset the game. Their apology has no roots. It sounds good for one day, maybe 1 week. Then the same behavior returns wearing new clothes. They say, I am sorry, but they do not become safer. They say, I will change, but they only change tactics. They say, I understand, but they understand only enough to manipulate better next time. Do not worship apologies. Watch transformation. An apology without changed behavior is not repentance. It is a pause between injuries. A promise without discipline is just sound. A tear without humility is weather. It passes, and the same storm returns. When you hold them accountable, they escape through many doors. One door is blame. You made me do it. Another door is comparison. Other people are worse. Another door is history. Because of my past, I cannot help it. Another door is distraction. Why are you bringing this up now? Another door is attack. You also did this one thing 3 years ago. Their goal is not to understand the damage. Their goal is to survive the conversation without changing. This is where you must become mature. Stop measuring people by how beautifully they speak after hurting you. Measure them by how much safer they become after being corrected. Correction reveals character. Boundaries reveal character. Consequences reveal character. Time reveals character. Some people only behave when they fear losing access to you. That is not goodness. That is calculation. The moment they feel secure again, the old pattern returns. If someone needs the threat of losing you in order to treat you with basic respect, you are not loved. You are being managed. The sixth sign is this: they feel pleasure when others lose light. This is one of the darkest signs, and many people ignore it because it is uncomfortable to accept. But you can see it if you stop making excuses. Watch their face when someone succeeds. Watch their tone when someone is praised. Watch what happens when you share good news. Do they celebrate with a clean heart, or do they minimize it, mock it, compete with it, change the subject, or remind you of your flaws? Some people are not happy unless they are above someone. They do not want to grow. They want others to shrink. Your confidence disturbs them. Your healing threatens them. Your peace irritates them. Your independence feels like betrayal because they preferred you broken, available, and easy to control. They may say, "I am just joking." But their jokes always cut the same place. They may say, "I am being honest," but their honesty never builds, only bruises. They may say, "I am trying to help you stay humble." But what they really mean is, do not rise too high, because your light makes my darkness visible. A person who secretly enjoys your pain will often appear when you are weak and disappear when you are strong. When you are suffering, they are attentive. When you are recovering, they become strange. When you need rescue, they feel important. When you no longer need rescuing, they feel rejected. This is not friendship. This is hunger for superiority. You must stop giving sacred access to people who clap when you crawl but grow silent when you stand. Do not announce your growth to everyone. Some ears are not safe for your dreams. Some eyes are not safe for your happiness. Some hands do not touch your life to bless it, but to mark where they will strike later. Move quietly, heal privately, build with discipline. Let your results speak after your foundation is strong. And remember this: envy is not always loud. Sometimes envy smiles. Sometimes envy gives advice. Sometimes envy says, "I am only worried about you." But underneath, it is not worried about your fall. It is worried about your rise. The seventh sign is this: after every interaction, you feel spiritually contaminated. This is the sign people often dismiss because they cannot explain it logically. You may not have proof. You may not have a perfect argument. You may not be able to describe exactly what happened. But after being around them, you feel heavy. Your thoughts become messy. Your heart becomes restless. You feel guilty without knowing why. You feel drained though nothing obvious occurred. You feel as if your inner temple has been entered by muddy feet. Do not ignore this. Peace is information. Tension is information. Your body is not stupid. Your spirit is not weak. Sometimes the deepest part of you recognizes what the polite part of you keeps denying. A person with dark intentions often leaves behind confusion, shame, fear, obsession, and self-doubt. You replay conversations for hours. You wonder what they meant. You prepare for their moods. You shrink your words before speaking. You become careful in a way that does not feel respectful, but fearful. You start living in reaction to them. Their presence moves into your mind even when they are not there. This is how you know the connection is not clean. Healthy people may challenge you, but they do not make you lose yourself. Honest people may correct you, but they do not make you feel worthless. Strong people may disagree with you, but they do not need to dominate your soul. When a connection is healthy, even difficult conversations leave room for dignity. When a connection is toxic, even peaceful moments feel like waiting for the next strike. You must learn the difference between discomfort that grows you and discomfort that warns you. Growth discomfort has light inside it. It feels hard, but it expands you. Warning discomfort has darkness inside it. It makes you smaller, more afraid, more dependent, more confused. Do not spiritualize your lack of boundaries. Do not say, maybe this is a lesson, while allowing someone to repeatedly poison your life. Yes, it is a lesson, but the lesson may be to leave. The lesson may be to stop explaining. The lesson may be to trust what you already know. The lesson may be to stop offering your neck to the same blade and calling it patience. Some of you listening already know the person. Their face appeared in your mind before I even finished speaking. And immediately another voice appeared too. The voice that says, but they had a hard past. The voice that says, but sometimes they are good. The voice that says, maybe I am overthinking. The voice that says, what if I leave and regret it? Understand this clearly. Your empathy is not the problem. Your refusal to protect yourself is the problem. A person's pain may explain their behavior. It does not excuse their cruelty. Their childhood may explain their wounds. It does not give them ownership of your peace. Their trauma may explain why they bleed. It does not give them permission to cut you open. You can have compassion from a distance. You can forgive without returning. You can wish someone healing without offering yourself as the medicine. This is where many good people fail. They think love means staying available until the other person finally becomes kind. But some people do not become kind because you loved them harder. They simply learn that your love has no gate. A heart without a gate is not noble. It is unprotected. When you recognize these signs, do not rush into dramatic confrontation. Dangerous people often use confrontation as another stage. They will twist your words. They will provoke your anger. They will gather an audience. They will make you look unstable for finally reacting to what they have done quietly for months or years. Be wise. Move like water. Quietly reduce access. Stop feeding the pattern. Stop giving them your private thoughts. Stop explaining your wounds to the one who benefits from them. Distance is not always weakness. Sometimes distance is the highest form of intelligence. You do not need to prove that someone is evil before you protect your peace. This is important. Many people wait for undeniable evidence. They wait for the final betrayal. They wait until the damage becomes so obvious that nobody can question them. But by then, they are exhausted. Their confidence is broken. Their friendships are damaged. Their inner voice is faint. Do not wait until the house collapses to admit the foundation is cracked. You are allowed to step back because the pattern is unhealthy. You are allowed to say no because your body is warning you. You are allowed to choose peace even when others do not understand. You are allowed to disappoint someone who was benefiting from your silence. The dangerous person will often accuse you of being cold when you become clear. They will call you selfish when you stop serving their hunger. They will call you changed when you stop being controllable. Let them. A snake will always be offended when the bird learns to fly. Do not be surprised when they try to pull you back through guilt, nostalgia, promises, or fear. They may suddenly become soft. They may suddenly remember your value. They may say exactly what you always wanted to hear. But ask yourself, why did your worth become visible only when your absence became possible? Why did respect appear only after you began leaving? Why did love become loud only when control became weak? Do not be hypnotized by last-minute tenderness. Sometimes the cage is decorated beautifully when the prisoner finds the door. There is also a hard truth you must face. Harmful people often choose those who are open, loyal, forgiving, and hungry for harmony. They do not usually choose people with strong boundaries because strong boundaries are inconvenient. They choose the person who explains too much, forgives too fast, carries too much guilt, and believes love can fix every wound. They choose the person who sees potential instead of pattern. Your ability to see good in people is beautiful. But if you cannot also see danger, your beauty becomes a weakness. The world does not need you to become suspicious of everyone. It needs you to become honest. Honest about behavior, honest about patterns, honest about what your peace costs you when you keep the wrong person close. Some people are not evil in the dramatic way stories describe. They are evil in the quiet way. They enjoy control. They corrupt trust. They punish honesty. They use weakness as a map. They damage others and call it love. They make people doubt themselves and call it sensitivity. They isolate, drain, confuse, and then ask why you have changed. Do not waste your life trying to make darkness admit it is dark. A person committed to manipulation rarely gives you the satisfaction of a clean confession. They may never say, yes, I used you. They may never say, yes, I lied. They may never say, yes, I knew exactly what I was doing. Waiting for this confession can become another prison. You keep returning to the courtroom of their approval, hoping they will finally validate your pain. But your freedom cannot depend on the honesty of someone who benefits from lying. Sometimes closure is not a conversation. Sometimes closure is a decision. Sometimes closure is the moment you stop asking the person who hurt you to explain why you are hurting. Return to yourself. Return to your breath. Return to your discipline. Return to the people who make your soul quiet. Return to your work. Return to your body. Return to prayer, meditation, training, silence, walking, writing, whatever brings your mind back into clean order. Evil thrives in chaos, so become ordered. Evil thrives in reaction, so become still. Evil thrives when you are desperate to be understood. So understand yourself first. The stronger your center becomes, the less power dark people have over you. They can still speak, but their words do not enter as deeply. They can still act, but their actions do not control your entire day. They can still try to provoke you, but they no longer own your nervous system. This is real strength, not the strength of shouting, not the strength of revenge, the strength of being unshakable because you no longer hand your inner world to unclean hands. You must also look within. This is uncomfortable, but necessary. Ask yourself, why did I tolerate what I knew was wrong? Not to blame yourself, to free yourself. Did you fear being alone? Did you confuse chaos with passion? Did you believe you had to earn love through suffering? Did you think your patience would eventually be rewarded? Did you ignore the first sign because the truth would force you to act? This is where real growth begins, not in hating the person, not in telling everyone how evil they are, but in becoming the kind of person who no longer volunteers for the same lesson. The wound teaches nothing if you only memorize the face that caused it. You must understand the doorway they entered through. Was it loneliness? Was it guilt? Was it low self-worth? Was it your need to be chosen? Heal the doorway, and the same darkness will not find easy entrance again. There is a version of you that no longer begs for basic respect. There is a version of you that does not panic when someone withdraws affection. There is a version of you that can lose a person and keep your soul. There is a version of you that does not chase explanations from people who survive by confusing you. That version is not far away. It is built every time you choose truth over attachment. Do not confuse being peaceful with being passive. The mountain is peaceful, but it does not move for every storm. The river is gentle, but it cuts through stone. The warrior is calm, but not available for abuse. True spirituality does not make you easy to harm. It makes you harder to deceive. So when you see these signs, do not become obsessed with labeling the person. Do not spend your nights trying to decide whether they are evil enough to leave. The label is less important than the effect. Are you becoming more alive or less alive? More honest or more confused? More peaceful or more anxious? More yourself or more controlled? The fruit reveals the root. If every path with someone leads you away from your own dignity, stop walking and understand this. Leaving does not always mean physically disappearing in one dramatic moment. Sometimes leaving begins inside. You stop believing every word. You stop offering unlimited access. You stop reacting to every provocation. You stop trying to win arguments designed to drain you. You stop giving them information they can twist. You stop asking them to become what they have repeatedly shown they are not willing to become. Inner departure comes before outer departure. First, the soul stands up. Then the body follows. When you meet a person who plays with your mind, reverses your pain, weaponizes kindness, isolates you, avoids accountability, resents your light, and leaves your spirit heavy, do not call this a complicated connection. Call it what it is, a threat to your peace. And peace is not a small thing. Peace is the ground where your purpose grows. Peace is the soil of your wisdom. Peace is the home of your strength. Without peace, even your blessings feel heavy. Protect it, not with hatred. Hatred keeps the poison alive. Protect it with clarity. Protect it with silence. Protect it with distance. Protect it with standards. Protect it with the courage to be misunderstood by people who only liked you when you were easy to control. There will be a moment when you miss them. This is normal. Do not mistake missing someone for needing them back. The body can crave what harmed it. The mind can romanticize the cage after stepping outside. You may remember the good moments, the laughter, the promises, the rare tenderness. But do not use a few beautiful moments to deny the pattern that broke you. Even a prison has sunlight through the bars. When the memory becomes sweet, remember the cost. Remember who you became while trying to keep them calm. Remember how many times you swallowed your truth. Remember how often you felt guilty for having needs. Remember how small your world became. Let the full truth return, not only the soft pieces. This is how you stay free. And if you are still inside such a connection, begin today with one act of honesty. Not a dramatic announcement, not a war. One honest act. Tell yourself the truth. Write the pattern. Speak to someone safe. Rebuild one boundary. Refuse one manipulation. Delay one reaction. Protect one private part of your life. Small acts of clarity become a path. A path becomes distance. Distance becomes breath. Breath becomes strength. You are not here to be consumed by people who refuse to heal. You are not here to become the emotional shelter for someone who keeps setting fires. You are not here to prove your goodness by accepting cruelty. You are not here to love darkness until it becomes light. You are here to become awake. And awakening is not gentle in the beginning. It hurts because it removes the illusion. It hurts because it shows you where you participated in your own imprisonment. It hurts because it asks you to choose yourself when your old self wants to chase, explain, fix, and forgive too quickly. But after the pain of awakening comes the quiet dignity of freedom.